Welcome to Making a Smarter Agent, a podcast for people who sell things for a living. Sales, the easiest job to get and yet the hardest one to succeed at. Each week, I take a deep dive into the methods used by the winners in sales, the people who seem to make selling look easy.
And welcome to another episode of Making a Smarter Agent. Today, it's actually a weird day. Normally I get people who are purely in real estate, purely in the sales standpoint. From that perspective, I always say that this podcast is for people who sell, primarily people who sell real estate. A few months ago, I connected with a company called My Outdesk, where I hired a virtual assistant. I literally threw my arms up. I didn't have the time or the inclination to continue to interview people. And, you get a great person, and you got to know I came off the backbone of having a great lady. She's still a great lady, but she just decided to move on with her husband into some other direction, and that's after only 15 months. It passes very quickly. So I wanted a solution, and I came up in a variety of ways through this My Outdesk, and I'm happy to say the CEO and founder, Daniel Ramsey, is with me now. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, Edmund. Thanks for having me today.
This is great stuff. So, again, the approach that I'm coming to this is both from an interest, because, as I was saying at the beginning, my listenership is primarily real estate agents, but there's also other people in sales, and I like to bring good things to them. And I think of you and your business as a good thing. Why don't you start out and tell us a little bit about the virtual assistant world, and then perhaps about how you got into it?
Yeah, happy to do that. I mean, your intro is exactly right. Real estate folks and business folks, our enemy to growing a large practice is just simply, turnover in positions of assistants. And, if you've been in business for any number of years, finding and attracting talent is one of your biggest challenges as a business owner. And so we solve that problem by making it really, really easy. Literally, people sign up, and the next day we start them interviewing, and the next day they can have their virtual assistant start. So we basically solve the talent issue for folks. Sure.
And there's a big one, because, you've got a lot of people in the industry. I mean, I think at last count there was, I want to say 1.2 million realtors in America.
Yeah, and there's like 1.7 licensed people. So you've got a huge swath of real estate folks. And, the big challenge for us is that we typically gravitate towards the top 10 or 15%. Because those are folks that are truly in the real estate world. They have businesses. It's not a part-time thing for them, and it's not a friends and family kind of practice. It's a real business. And so we gravitate towards the top 10%. We serve half of the top 100, which is really awesome for us. And we've been doing this 12 years.
So when you say half of the top 100 companies, groups, what is top 100?
Yeah, top 100 teams across the country, the people that are doing thousands of transactions. If you rattle off the top 100, half of them are our clients and have been for years. So our whole world, what we do is we help people find talent, and primarily it's administrative or marketing and or sales talent. So, we help grow and scale companies through virtual assistants.
You primarily focus on the three areas of one's business: marketing, administrative, and prospecting.
Right.
Is it a different category of employee or virtual assistant for each, or is it interchangeable skill set? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, we kind of divide it up into two camps. You have the selling camp, which is the prospecting, somebody who understands talking on the phone and, converting, prospects to leads and leads to clients. And so we kind of have that camp where you're people-oriented, you're people-focused, you're used to being on the phones and really just kind of talking to people all day. And then the other side, which is the administrative side. And we're about 50-50. So we have about 600 folks on the prospecting side and about 600 folks on the admin and marketing side.
Sure. And you said you've been at it since 2008. What year did you get started?
Well, so I'm a real estate broker, still licensed, still love the world that I'm in fact, I just met with a contractor because we're doing a remodel on a commercial space that we own. And, back in 2007, I needed to grow. Like, we'd gone through this massive crash in real estate, like everybody who was in real estate back then. But we were kind of crawling our way out of it, and I needed talent. So I hired our first couple virtual assistants in 2007. But then in April of 2008, a good friend of mine who's in San Diego, who was doing, a couple thousand transactions every year, said, "Hey, Daniel, can you get me a couple?" And I was like, "What are you talking about, a couple?" And he's like, "I need 5 virtual assistants." And literally my Outdesk was born because we saw a need in my own business, and then a friend said, "Hey, can you get me some?" So it was all by accident.
That's really cool, and it's interesting that you're saying it's 50-50 sales to admin.
Yeah.
Does it normally start, like right now? I've got RA, who's amazing, who I know is going to hear this because he's going to help me edit the darn thing.
Yeah.
So,
what's up, RA?
What's up, RA? He's a man. But does it start out like right now? Every now and then, I think, okay, do I want to dig in and get another guy from you just to do the sales? Or how do people normally start with you? What's their normal trajectory of the client? Do they start on an admin end and then go sales, or vice versa? Or is it there's nothing scientific about it?
It's all over the place, but what's not, people always start exactly as you did. I need help. So for your audience, if you're listening right now, if you're dropping the ball in certain areas, you hate doing paperwork, you don't have time to finish everything that's on your plate, you wish you could launch a project or get a thing done, but you just can't do it, that's what's common about all of our clients is they need support. They're growing a business. They're in the weeds all day long, and they come home and they don't have time to finish everything at night, right? That's how you know you need some assistance and help, and that's what all of our clients share. They needed some sort of talent in order to get their business to the next level. And the reality is, like as business people and salespeople, you and I, we need to be talking to clients. We need to be interacting with the public. We need to be creating cool stuff. And if you're not currently doing that, then, that's an issue.
It is. And it's definitely something I had over the years. I've had several people work for me. I had a larger company as well, but that's another story. And this young woman who worked for me, she was sensational. I think $22 an hour plus other bonuses and other things that went in. Plus I had to house her, I had to keep her in a place. And then she wanted to live her life and get engaged and maybe move on and do something else. I'm being sarcastic now. Actually, I'm friends with her, so that's why I'm sure she'll listen to this. But she had a different career path and went on after less than 14 months, and a lot of time went into it. And I don't fault her for that, but it was very clear to me at that point that this is an awful lot of not only cash investment, but time investment in someone. Talk to me about the billing. How does it work? Let's talk money here. So now what's the model with regard to your VAs?
Well, first of all, I want your audience to absolutely know that if you want a $3 an hour virtual assistant, my Outdesk is not for you. We specifically support and help large real estate companies and practices grow and scale their business. So we position ourselves at the higher end of the value proposition, meaning our people are virtual professionals, not assistants. If you're coming to us and you need a marketing person, we're not going to go try to build a marketing person. We're going to find somebody who that's what they do. If you need a prospecting person, guess what? We're going to find somebody who has 5 or 10 years of experience on the phone converting people. Like that's what we do, and that's how we help people grow and scale. So our cost $1,747 a month. It's a little bit over $400 every single week. We don't do long-term contracts. That's another thing that I'm a real estate broker. We're constantly sold, right? I hate it. So, we have a 90-day commitment period where we get over that kind of training hump. But then all of our, close to 1,000 clients, they vote every 2 weeks with their credit card. And I think that's a really big differentiator for us.
It's huge. And I think for those that are listening, first of all, I have no ownership interest in my outdesk. I want to be very clear. I've got this guy on because I thought that I like the business. I like the model. It works out pretty well. And I thought, wow, let's have this guy on. It's something that everyone could use. But I have no interest in their success or failure other than my own selfish interest in keeping RA working with me. And he's been just a terrific guy. Let's talk about, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm kind of excited. The whole notion of virtual assistants, virtual professionals.
Yep.
I saw in a presentation that you made, you showed one slide that was demonstrating how some of the large companies are outsourcing. Can you talk a little bit about that? How common the virtual worker, the non-W-2, just understand, everyone that's listening, I have no payroll taxes. I have no health insurance. If the guy sucks and he doesn't, I could pull the plug and stop paying. There's no cleaning up the desk, no security guard leaving anyone out, no emotional connection, except obviously that's not the case. I really do like the guy. So that type of mess it just doesn't exist. What goes on with companies today, the larger companies? How common is this?
Well, I mean, what I want everybody to listen or hear is that if you think of any major Fortune 500 company right now, they have been doing outsourcing probably for 20 or 30 years. I mean, that's the bottom line. Now, real estate, literally, we built this industry inside of the real estate people. So that might be a shock for some of your listeners, the folks that are listening right now. But back in 2007, I swear, I was on stage at conferences and I'd say a virtual assistant, and people would raise their hand and go to the mic and say, Daniel, what's a virtual assistant? They just didn't, they had no clue. But what we believe is a blended model where your in-house talent is primarily the licensed people who are driving revenue, servicing clients, and really helping you move the ball forward in a strategic and client-focused way. And then we believe in a blended model where everything else, literally paperwork, marketing, the initial calls, phone calls for your leads, all the projects that you have, all the client parties, all the calling on your, sphere of influence and your previous clients, like all of that paperwork stuff and stuff that isn't dollar revenue producing stuff should be handed off to a virtual assistant. And this blended model really is the model of the future.
Sure. I also want to point out that of how I'm using my assistant. Again, if we could just get a real live testimonial here. I have a weekly think tank, and this is, I'll be blunt, it's a plug for the realtors that aren't in it. We do this 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from 9 to 9:30 every Wednesday morning, and I've got agents from New York, from California, from Aspen, Colorado. I have people over in the UK, and it's a think tank called Rain Nation. It stands for Real Estate Information Group Network. Got about 95 people in the group, about 20 to 25 show up every week. And how does this tie into my outdesk? RA has been instrumental in contacting the participants, in experimenting. Let's just do some pure research here. Did this topic work, or did this mailer or means of communicating, whether it would be a bomb video or something, did it work? If I didn't have the time to actually produce that element, RA right now is working on some PowerPoints for me. So you get to do pure research at not a really enormous expense. Now, that said, it's helped my group grow quite well. If anybody out there is listening, this is my shameless plug. I'd love to have you on and to give it a shot. Just, drop us a note or check us out on Facebook, Rain Nation, and you'll get that in the show notes. So that's one of the means. Does anyone else do any type of trial and error with your virtual people?
Yeah, I mean, here's an example. I mean, I told you earlier I was talking to a contractor because we have this commercial space that we're building out right now. I had my virtual assistant literally do a 3-bid comparison in Excel, take the scope of work, break down the price, and then highlight any differences so that each contractor, even though they were bidding to a set of construction plans, I mean, they were wildly different. One person was 800,000, another person was 500,000, and you wonder, like, where's the difference in the 300,000? It would have literally taken me an entire day of just brain power to look at everything. Instead, my virtual assistant was able to put it in Excel, break it down, call to clarify questions, look up products and research. So, if you're a real estate person or any kind of business person right now, your job is to drive revenue, and our job is to take everything else off of your plate, whether it's experimenting, marketing, doing paperwork. I mean, here's a great one. How about every transaction that you do from now on, you don't do the paperwork?
Sure.
I mean,
that's a big one.
That right there, I mean, according to the National Association of Realtors, there's about 45 hours in every single transaction of administrative and marketing tasks. 45 hours in every single one transaction. The truth is, as an industry, we just don't realize that we're doing 45 hours. We just do it as a normal course of our business. But what if you could buy some of your time back? How much faster could you grow? How many more deals could you close every single month?
Sure. Okay, so here's some of the skeptical questions for those that might be out there. What can't they do?
I love it. They can't do licensed stuff. In Texas, if you have one of our virtual assistants prospecting for FSBOs or expireds, guess what? They're going to pull you out and shoot you. It's really impossible if you're going to do that in Texas.
Well, it is Texas.
Yeah, but we have several virtual professionals in the Texas, state, country, they would like to say, and we're calling their previous clients. We're inviting them to client parties. We're checking in on them and making sure they have everything they need through the process. So what they can't do is licensed activity stuff, for sure. The other thing is, if you're going to call us up and say, hey, Daniel, I want to create a new strategic partnership, and I don't really quite know what it's going to look like, and I'm hoping to hire you guys to do that. That's not what we do. We're not going to go out and build your business for you. We're a talent resource when you already have something up and running that you just want to take off of your plate. So, strategic stuff we're not going to do. We're definitely not going to do licensed stuff, and we can't open your mail in your office.
Sure. So then when it comes to, and again, I'm looking at this, the prospecting, other than the state of Texas, I mean, isn't there a problem in Florida? Isn't there a problem in all these domiciles with prospecting? How is that done?
You know what the crazy thing is? 70% of all real estate is done through sphere of influence, referrals, and yet in this industry, most of our money is spent on buying leads and building these platforms where you're prospecting on systems. Our people are awesome with calling your sphere of influence and your past clients and just saying, hey, we're going to have a movie night, or hey, we've got a business get together, or hey, we've created a mastermind like you have. I mean, it's insane the amount of work that we can help in just driving referrals and repeat business. And the reality is, yeah, the initial call, maybe where you're saying, hey, I'd like to buy or sell your house. Maybe we can't do that, but we can definitely call and be a concierge and say, hey, you registered on our website. We just want to make sure that you got set up right. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're looking for and what areas, and I'm going to adjust your profile. So there are ways for us to serve our clients and help them grow revenue in that unlicensed assistant world.
So 1,200 agents, 900, I hope I'm saying this right, 1,200 virtual professionals.
Yep.
900 plus clients.
Yep.
And what's the largest client as far as the number of virtual professionals they have working for them?
I think we have one client who, by last count, had 17 folks.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. He wants to put you out of a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this particular agent is, the largest agent in the world and has, multiple offices, multiple divisions, is a really huge agent. And, we help him in every facet of the business. When we say marketing, we've got marketing people. Sales, we have sales people. When we have administrative side, I mean, we run their entire listing coordination and transaction coordination and administrative side of their business. And really, it goes back, Edmund, to the savings. If you hire somebody physically, you're going to pay $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. You can buy that person from us for $21,000 a year. little bit more than $400 a week. And for most people, what you need is somebody to just help get some tasks off your plate.
Give me some other testimonials. And while we're at it, I'm dying to ask who this big 17 VA person is, but I dare not. I could just see it in your face. I'm not going to get that out of you.
No.
But who else? What are some other creative ways that people are using your guys?
Well, I'll give you an example. Keller Williams International, not the individual agent or the individual office, but the franchisor has our virtual assistants at the corporate level. Company like Zillow back in 2013, their concierge model that they have now, we built that for them. They hired us, paid us a lot of money to show them how to build the concierge model inside of their business. Those are just some of the things that we've done. But my favorite thing, and I want to give this away, is we just finished a book in December. So it's Scaling Your Business with Mod Virtual Professionals. So I definitely want to give that away to your audience today.
You've got an e-book that's available, or how does it work?
We do. So the book is called Scaling Your Business with Mod Virtual Professionals. You can find it on Amazon and anywhere online. But we can also give you guys a text code. So if you just text SVP, so Scale with Virtual Professionals, S is in Sam, V is in Victor, P is in Paul, to 31996, you'll get an electronic version. You can get a Kindle or a PDF, whatever you prefer. And Edmund, for you, I'm going to send you one in the mail, so you have a physical copy.
That warms my heart. So say that SVP.
Yeah, SVP, Scale with Virtual Professionals, to 31996.
31996. Okay, and that's your book.
Yep.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Everything. Go ahead.
Did you do that with Pat Hyben?
I didn't do it with Pat Hyben, but Pat and I are buddies, man. He and I are going to Australia this year on a little international trip, and I'm a big fan of Real Estate Rock Stars and everything that he's done over the years. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's. I listen to it religiously, and certainly a lot of elements and ideas of my podcast came from there. So I make no bones about it. I think he's got some great ideas. I think he's got some great guests, and I said to myself, I've got a great company and great contacts here that are doing $1 million in GCI each year. Why don't I do something? So kudos to him for coming up with it.
I love it. And the reality is, as agents, one more quick tip. What I love is I like thinking, okay, well, what do I need? And you'll find this in the book. This is a big part of our book. The one question that we ask when you come in and do a consultation is like, hey, if you had to double your business today, what would you do? What would you do in order to do that? What would you take off your plate? What would you have to start doing? What would you change in your time frame? And when you ask that question, you start, it changes the thing. If you're doing 50 transactions and you have to go from 50 to 100 transactions, well, that causes you to shift a lot around. So the central theme when you come in and do a consultation with us is like, who's on your team? What systems do you have right now in place? What are you doing all day? And how could we help you double your business? And that's the entire premise to having a consultation with us. So the book is absolutely free. You can get an electronic version. You can go on Amazon for $20 and buy a physical copy of it. I'm a big fan of that physical copy. We got folders. We've got things for you to give you a bunch of what we've learned over the 12, 13 years that we've been doing this. But the consultation is really where most of the value happens when you come into my outdesk, because we'll let you know if you're crazy or if we can actually help you. And that's probably the biggest value.
Things I love about real estate, and this is what fits so well into your business, is you can meet 10 different people who've made $1 million a year, and you'll get 10 very different approaches that they've made. You've got the farmers, you've got cold callers, you've got social media people, you've got a blend, you've got people like me who do a lot of public speaking, or with social media and public speaking, a lot of agents out of state, and a lot of you are listening now. I want you to think about me when you've got someone buying or selling in South Florida. And so you have different tools that are available to you. And that's what I really love about it. If you're not the most bold, shall I say, cold calling's probably not for you, but there's another route in. And that's what I really like about it. And I think my Outdesk really does serve a purpose for any one of those people.
Edmund, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you. And if you're listening today, definitely get a copy of the book. Even if you don't hire a virtual assistant from us, it has all the tips, tricks, tools, so you can successfully grow and scale your business.
Making a Smarter Agent would like to thank its two sponsors. The first is Organize New York Palm Beach, which you could see on Instagram at the handle Organize Palm Beach. Let's face it, organization stinks. It's tough. Organize New York Palm Beach is the premier organizing company that operates between New York and Palm Beach County, Florida. Go check them out on Instagram at Organize Palm Beach. Also, Rain Nation. That's the Real Estate Information Group Network. Think of it as group therapy for realtors. And you know what? We need it. It's part think tank. It's part coaching. It's all opportunity. Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION. You can find it on Facebook.